We went together in UP Baguio under the course BA Social Sciences major in History and Sociology. He's Anthropology and Political Science. So he's an anthropologist also. Immediately after undergrad, he took up College of Law at the University of the Cordillera, and he passed the bar in 2010. Yun. So, as of now, he is practicing, he's in private practice, and he also works as a DJ in DCWP. So, ano na nga yung schedule mo doon? Sorry, Saturday? Yeah, Saturday, what time? 5 to 6. So, yun, mga legal matters. Yun. So, back in UP, he was a very active member of the PAGTA, or the Paggawisan Tako Ang In. It's a Cordillera group in UP Baguio, so ganito din ang ginagawa niya noon. He's also an active member of the Marinol Choir. So you see, I actually call him as the singing attorney. Yun. So a very well-rounded person. Yeah, so without further ado, I would like to introduce our guest speaker for today, Attorney Erica Ignacio.
Thank you, Emma, for the kind words. You might be wondering why I was invited. As you guess, I have connections. There are no connections at all. Well, thank you very much for inviting me. I'm actually surprised when Emma told me that there is this group of I was surprised to learn from Emma that there is this group in the internet with this aim. It is very commendable. It's very kumbaga, nagmaya that we have this group and we're using the modern technology to still retain what we have as Cordillera. At time when I was when we were enjoying the cultural presentation, I was mentioning to Emma that some of the dancers are very young, high school, very quick, and they college. It makes us happy. Now we have young ladies and young gentlemen who go their way and practice these dances, learn these dances, and present these dances. And with that, they retain a very, very important part of our culture with them. And we are assured that although some of us might not be as graceful as them, we are assured that they will continue to have that part of culture with them. And so we can continue having to enjoy these beautiful dances for the coming years and for the coming generations. I am more of a thinker than a participant in many in this work in the cultural aspect. I worked when I was in college studying anthropology. I worked with some research when I graduated. I worked with research trying to study the different legal problems in the management of the national park, particularly Mount Pulag. And there I got my exposure. I was exposed to this, several problems that we have in the community or in the management of this national park. And that for me is also an eye-opener, but it's also a very good experience for me. Your theme is enriching and upholding our unique, right? Upholding our unique Cordillera culture towards strengthening unity between and among tribes and provinces in the Cordillera. It's very complicated. Enriching and upholding the unique Cordillera culture towards strengthening unity between and among. Yeah? And I believe that your aim or your theme today speak of your aim as an organization. I don't know. As an organization. And that is very good. Enriching and upholding our unique Cordillera culture. We would like to retain what we had in the past, and we don't want to forget We don't want to forget who we are, and that is great. When we have our community dances, when we wear those traditional patterns or those traditional cloths, we want to retain with us, despite the modern age that we are living in right now. We want to retain a part of the past. We want to live the present as if we were living in the past. And that's something that we usually want to do. Na, we always think of, ay ako naka-busy tayo, naka-lalao di bagyo na ta, or wherever we might be working. And sometimes we just want to romanticize and we just say, haan na talang ili. Now you can just sit in front of your house and just listen to the sounds of nature, to the birds, and you can just interact and be free with your community members. And we always want to recall those moments. And part of enriching and upholding our unique cultural culture is that, reminiscing of the past. Unity between and among tribes. This is more of an idea. Mahirap mag-achieve of unity, but that is the challenge. It's really difficult to say, let's unite the tribes or let's unite the groups, and yet we tell these groups to maintain their uniqueness. Ang hirap nun. Be unique as an Ifugao, be unique as a mountain province or a Bontoc, be unique as an Ibaloy. But then we say, let's unite. How can that happen? No? It's a very, very challenging task. You can just imagine, you put an Ifugao, you put a Bontoc or a mountain province, you put an Ibaloy, and Kanai together in one room, or Kalinga together in one room, and you say, let's come up with a project, and you get several ideas. You say, let's put up a house, and you get several concerns. How can we begin to build a house? Whose house will it be? And then another would say, Pangalaan kayo tikayo na mausay. And then another one would say, we cannot start, we must consult the elders. And then others would say, we cannot start because we have to consult our dead relatives. Saan natin ilalagay yung bahay and all of those. And napaka-diverse. You can just imagine the situation happening if you come up with a project, no? But the beauty of that is you have a common ground. The beauty of that is you have this diversity of ideas. And you have so many things that you can use. And you have so many concerns. That is the beauty of this one. So I believe that when we say let's unite our cultures, we don't want to say let's forget our Pagiging Ibaloy and let's unite into something else. No, mahirap naman yun. What will it be? No, if you forget being Kankanari, then we turn into something else. Then we destroy the very culture we are trying to protect or we're trying to uphold. So it's more of like an academic thing in our mind of what should we do and things like those. Of course, for me, I take issue of this one thing that happened on Facebook. Anyway, there was this picture not long ago. There was this picture of Casey Concepcion with some people there wearing what appears to be Ifugao traditional attire. I took the different route when it comes to reacting to that situation, no? Because some were violently reacting, saying, "This is not Igorot, no? Haana basta picture of the Igorot." I took a different path and said, wait, let's not react that way. That's not how we're supposed to react. No, it's an unpopular stance. But if we examine our reaction to that, if we say, they don't look like Igorot, then we are guilty of the same prejudice that we want to stop. Diba? What's our basis of saying that they are not Igorot? Because when they appear to be dark-skinned, they appear to be Aitan. Diba? And that's the same prejudice that we want to remove. And we might be guilty. Sabihin natin, dapat we should not judge Igorot as very, very low-educated individuals or walang pinag-aralan. But in judging that photograph, that simple photograph, we become guilty of the same racist tendency and say, they are not Igorot because they don't look like me. And that's the very behavior that we don't want people to judge us with. That we will not be judged according to our appearance. but according to our work, according to our values, according to our culture, not by appearance. And so along with the issue of saying that we should be proud of our Igorot culture, we should also be careful not to judge other cultures as inferior, no, compared to us. Sometimes we're guilty of that. Anyway, Igorot tayo, mami dito eh. Sometimes we're guilty about this. We say, turut, nagita ng lowlanders, ako na mga muda. We are guilty of the same behavior that we don't like, no? That they behave towards us na yung mga Igorot, walang pinag-aralan. But when we react towards them, we react the same way and say, nagita ng lowlanders, tawag yan ang muda when it comes to this work, tawag yan ang muda when it comes to that. Taga sila sa Gamin or taga Manila da. They don't know anything. No? And we must be careful not to behave in the same way. Otherwise, we prove them right. We prove them correct. So, we should be proud of our culture, but not to the point of saying that other cultures are inferior. There was this big historical thing that happened, a tragedy in, I think it's in Rwanda, in the African country. No? Back in the 1990s, nagalukin niya yung sabi nga na yan na. Sabi in the 1990s that I was still in the elementary, probably I was not even in grade 1. But there was this genocide that happened in Rwanda. And the root of that genocide, the genocide is of course killing so many people. They killed, I think, close to 1 billion people. Rwanda is a country, but it is composed of 2 groups. And this group is not a group that the Rwandans created. It was a foreign created group. Back in the 1900s, something like that. They were invaded by the Dutch people. And the Dutch government classified them into 2 groups. Now, wala naman sa kanila yun. It was not, hanya kalawin na ibaloy ang kanayan benget. Wala yun. No? It was imposed by the Dutch. And the Dutch people, the Dutch government said, okay, you have this group and you have this group. So group A and group B. It imposed the Dutch law. No? And then it became a very, very controversial grouping in Rwanda. And they took it seriously. That whoever was in power would try to annihilate the other group. Sabi na kabilang na group dapat ang superior. And that's what happened. One group came to power in the 1990s, and then they tried to annihilate the other group. They killed all of the people belonging to the other group. Yun yung nangyari, ethnic cleansing, genocide. That's what happened. Because they became very, very proud of who they are, that they forgot that the other people are also human beings. And of course, the classic example of Hitler trying to annihilate all the Jews. Because he thought the Jews were problems in Germany. Sabi niya, yung mga Jews ang napapahirap sa atin, let's kill all of them. That's what they did. They killed millions of Jews. That's the extreme. But of course, we don't do that here. But that is the danger of that thought. One man was with the idea of the Jews are the problem. So lahat ng Jews pinatay niya. No distinction. Children, women, old people. Na hindi naman involved in the economy of Germany at that time. But that is the danger. And in our mind, if we judge in our mind, yung sinabi ko kanina, yung picture ni Casey Concepcion with those women and men wearing what appears to be Ifugao costume or traditional attire, if we behave that way, then doon nagsastart yun. Doon nagsastart yun. And so if we have an office mate na ganun din, I mean, belonging to a different group, then we judge him according to his group and say, nagkita kami na taga Mountain Province, nagkita kami na taga Pintiet, isuda lang itiyak ako yung taranda. We behave in the generalization. Yeah? And this happens in Benguet. I'm an Ibaloy, but this is the issue. Sabi na the head gawin to hospital ko, taga Benguet. So amin na may appointar na natin, taga Benguet ang amin. See, that's where the problem can come. You know, we become divisive also. You know? And that's what we don't want to happen. That's why I believe this is one of the purposes of this organization, and that is good. We don't want divisiveness, but we want unity. And as I said, nagkalitan kayo na to be true with the word na unity, or with the phrase na unity amidst diversity. It's quite impossible, no? But that is the challenge. We can achieve it. We can achieve it. Be proud of the culture that we are in, or that we have practiced for all these years, and yet we also can welcome others. Now, I was thinking yesterday, sabi ko, what brings people kaya into coming together despite our being in the city, or your support group being abroad? What led them to form the group? Well, I think it is the realization that the world is missing something, which is the sense of community. Now, I need this sense of community that everyone is just working for themselves, everyone is just working to be successful, but para kanino yung success natin? That does not happen in our community, diba? We don't work for ourselves, we work for the community. And that is what the world is going into right now. For example, kada kaming lawyer, they just want to become great lawyers, they just want to become high-paying lawyers, they just want to win their cases. But the sense of community is missing. There was a photograph in a book, anthropology book, that we used to study in UP. And it is a photograph that stuck with me. Diyan lang tinatandaan ng libro. The other things, I no longer can remember. But the photograph is so powerful. The photograph depicting two men. The other is a chieftain of an African tribe. Naka-traditional costume is una. And then the gentleman, the young gentleman on the other side, is a young student in Americana, nakasuit is una, naka-necktie. And then the caption of the picture is very beautiful. The old man is saying, in the past, when we send our young men away from our community, we give them spear and arrow and ask them to bring something good for the community. That was in the past. But now, we send you away with pen and paper and ask you to bring the same, or to bring good to the community. I believe that when we go away from our community to study in Baguio, the community does not say it, but they are hoping that you bring them something good when the time comes. And that is the sense of community that the world is missing now. One day, everyone to his own. Everyone will just work for himself. But for us, we know that we have a community to go back to. We have a community to go home to. And handamit na mukhang pera, but they always have this hope that someday, somehow, this son of ours who went away to work will come back someday and bring something great, bring some good ideas for our good. And that is very important. That, I believe, is a driving force why you have this group. Because you long for your community. You miss your community. You miss your babalay and your ili. And that, I believe, is great. And that is our strength as Cordillera. We want to retain our sense of community. We want to retain our sense of pinagkakadwa. And that, I believe, is something great. Amidst all the cultural practices that we do, sometimes we only retain the dances. No? Sometimes we're guilty about this. Jay sadadaan, when Jay katkat pa, iti kaya tayo may retain. The others, may amot na no? We just retain the dances. That's okay. At least we retain something. But let's not forget the value that we can learn from these dances and from these practices. Still, the sense of community. In the modern art, you know, we have dances, we have Charit, Tenko, we have players are performing abroad. We see that they only perform alone, solo. But in us, we perform as a community. You don't have a CD of the beating of the drum, nalaglakas sa awat mistake. But we want to do it as a community. We want to do it as a group, and that is great. Haan na maipagdudo iti may salaan, but all of us performing as a group. Diba? And that sense of community is something that should make us go forward. It's something that should guide us into our ideas as an interactive group. It's very, very good. In the values that we can see on the dance. Paulit-ulit, nakita ko na yan before. To tell you honestly, nakita ko na ito several hundreds of times before. But each time the dance is danced, each time the dance is performed, we recall the values that these dances tell us. We don't just watch them and say, oh, nag-graceful naman tayo. But we also recall the values that they teach us in this modern age. And that is the sense of community. And as you go around, you do your work, that's, I believe, something that we should realize. That we're losing that sense of community. For us to realize and we value that sense of community, let's keep it. Let's keep it in our hearts and continue with that. The issue is the autonomy. And I believe that this is something that we should also confront as an organization. Kasi nalaklakan na maitap tayo as compared to individuals. We can't participate in the discussion of autonomy. You know why? It's not just a political move, it's not just a subdivision of government, but we have to participate because that is who we are. We will be deciding on what will happen to us as a community or to us as a region, and so we must participate. I think it's the next big thing that this organization should also participate into. Kahit ordinary discussion, it will help our leaders. You know, our leaders were surprised, or are surprised at how politically different our time is. Halos the traditional politics. People can say whatever they want to say. You don't need to be the governor. You don't need to be the congressman. You can say it on Facebook. You have the power to do so. And so use that to voice out our concern and say, wait. This provision should not be here. Wait, let's re-examine this. Autonomy is fast approaching. The debate on the autonomy is fast approaching. And one issue there was only Ifugao chose not to join the autonomous region before. I believe that they have a very valid reason. If only now that I realize the value of the opposition of the Ifugao people. And for me, I thank them for it. Because it was premature at that time. Because the draft of the autonomy was so nai-rush that they just copied the provisions of the Muslim Mindanao. But the unapplicable provisions there were inserted in the Organic Act, which was dangerous. No? In the development, one of the provisions there, the development of the bodies of water in the region. Anong bodies of water are we talking about? Ang Puklaw Dam, Tingan Dam, Ganang Park. No? So that was dangerous. It was not looked into. So it is our chance to participate in this. We shouldn't just say, let's have united Cordillera and let's forget about the autonomy. No? It might be a political thing, but we should also dip our finger into it. One of the reasons of the Ifugao people, when we were in college, we used to, the Ifugao do not want to be called Igorot. And the justification is, if you call us Igorot, then we lose our being Ifugao. You call us Igorot, but we are Ifugao. We have a different dance, we have a different language. And that's the justification, which is good. No? If you call them Igorot people, or for me personally, I don't also want the word Igorot, because I'm an Igorot. No. I have a unique mindset, and an Igorot culture does not exist, because it's a general term, and I don't want to be generalized. I want to be called Ibaloy. I want to be called as who I am, and I want to retain my identity as an Ibaloy. And that's a danger when you say, I don't go against, it's okay. For me, it's okay. But the understanding there is, the basic misconception there is, if we as a people would want to call ourselves as Ifugao, Mother Brothers, I think that's okay. Handig Timan, ipilit din na, dapat we should be Igorot. If he says na dapat Ibaloy ako, I would call myself Ibaloy, go ahead. because he's proud to be an Igorot. Because as I said, the Igorot culture does not exist. There is no Igorot culture. If anyone can tell me what an Igorot culture is, I will not even believe you. Because there is no Igorot culture. It's just a general term that we use to connote or to refer to people in the mountains. That's Igorot. But when it comes to culture, there is no Igorot culture. There is no Igorot culture. And I think that we can, this is probably, you don't probably agree with me, but anyway, it's an issue that has long been there, that hanggang ngayon hindi pa natin ma-address. What should we call ourselves? Igorot or Cordillera? Or Ifugao, Monte Province, Boto? It's something that we should address also. As I said, the autonomy is not approaching. And the basis of the autonomy is they say they are all Igorot, so they should be autonomous. It's a bit deceptive. Why? Because there's no Igorot culture. We don't have something in common. If we go from one community to the other, we have different cultures. We have different languages. How can we say that they are one as a region? Unlike the Muslim Mindanao, they have one. But the Muslim nila, that's common. But let's participate actively in the autonomous, in the discussion of the autonomy. It's not that we oppose it, but we have to be aware of what is there. Otherwise, we're selling our identity also. We will be imposed upon a government which might be disadvantageous to all of us. So this, I said, I believe, must form part of our organization, that we consider all these issues. It's a very valid issues that we should consider as an organization. But your organization is highly commendable. I believe in its aims, and we have to continue. We have to continue because I know that you're proud of your culture. I know that you're proud of who you are. We should continue this, and we should encourage more people to have organizations like this. For me personally, maapala that you continue with this one. And for me, I have my own organization. I do not participate. And maapala kinyayo that we have this strong organization. We go forward and we pursue with our aims, taking into consideration all the issues or some of the issues that I mentioned. And so I believe now we have more dances and more activities that in store for us. And let's continue the discussion and let's continue interacting with each other and